It's one of those hard decisions because I don't love being in a financial relationship with family. If a relative doesn't pay you back, like you're not gonna like loan shark on them and go break their legs, you know? So like, you have to sort of understand that that money could be gone forever.
According to American Consumer Credit Counseling, 82% of all Americans say they would help a family member financially. In fact, the ACC found that loans between family members totaled $89 billion in the U.S. in 2013. Today we're talking to Tanja from Our Next Life to hear how she decided to make one such loan to a family member in need without jeopardizing their relationship.
We've been planning for early retirement for about 6 years at this point, and for pretty much that entire time, our families have known what we're doing, that we're saving a lot, that we're really focused on keeping our finances, in really solid shape. We found out that an immediate relative had some financial need through no fault of their own. It was a case of medical bills and things not being covered by insurance for a chronic condition, and running up a lot of debt without kind of realizing it. That person came to us. It was honestly like a business proposal, which I think made us respond more favorably because it was, here's the amount I need, here is the interest rate I'd love to do, and that even kind of making the case for that, if this outpaces the markets, or certain types of investments, and here's the term I'm proposing. And it made it very easy for us to say yes. My husband Mark and I really spent a lot of time talking about it and said okay, ultimately we have to consider this like a gift. We hope to get it back, but if we don't get it back, we have to make sure we'll be okay. And ultimately we could, and so we did it. And we know that the financial advisors would typically say don't do that, don't get into a money relationship with family, but for us we feel really good about it. It's all gone really well. I realized what good is it to save money and to become financially independent if we can't help the people we love? We're in a community, we're in families, we want to be able to help people, but not in ways that open us up to being taken advantage of. I do think it's important that you have a written contract where the loan has a repayment schedule and terms and late fees and everything you would do with someone who isn't a relative so that it feels serious. And I think part of it is a little bit of a character judgment. I think given the innate challenges of doing a financial arrangement with family, you want to make sure that this isn't a person who has always taken advantage of you. That would be a case where I think we'd probably exercise a little more tough love. Putting it in terms of this is for both of us, this is so we both know exactly what to expect because it is awkward to do business with family, and so you want to make sure that neither of us are unclear because it might feel weird to ask questions of each other versus a business partner or a stranger. So I think putting it in those terms has helped also. There are a lot of feelings involved. I do think on the negative side, worrying that we could be taken advantage of by other family members who find out. On some level, I feel really proud to be able to help people who we care about, but it is challenging because let's say you're helping out someone who's older or someone who's the generation ahead of you. There is that complication of am I infantilizing this person or making them feel like they don't have their act together because they need the help of someone younger? And I think that's all important stuff to think about. If you're considering making a decision like this, thinking about the finances first is really important because you have to make sure, I think, first and foremost, that whatever you're putting into something like a loan or a down payment on a property, you have to be able to afford to lose it because you have to know things you might do to collect on another loan you're not going to be willing to do with someone you love. And I think the feelings at that point are appropriate of how would this feel? Would this potentially jeopardize our relationship? Would this make me feel like I'm stuck and I'm not able to say things to them I might say to someone else I would lend money to? I think acknowledging that and playing through some of those scenarios of okay, what will I say when they miss a payment and how's that going to feel and am I prepared to feel that way? I think that's all really important to think about. I am a big believer that you can't help others if you don't have your own affairs in order. So I think family first is a wonderful sentiment, but there are many ways you can support family without directly giving them money or lending them money or any other financial arrangement. Let's say someone comes to you and asks for a loan and you cannot afford to lose the full amount. Maybe you could help them in a smaller way, or you could help counsel them in some way or connect them with folks who could help. So I think that there are different ways you can help without making an arrangement that you can't actually afford. All the feelings you might have with any money stuff, which is already complicated, just get so magnified unified with family.
My top takeaway from Tanja was the value of total transparency and clear communication. If you're in a situation where a family member is in need of a loan, you need to have a clear understanding of how much money is being lent, for what purposes, and when it will be repaid. And I don't just mean you should have a clear understanding, both parties need to be clear. Too often we avoid having open discussions about money because we assume that we're on the same page as the other person. But that's not always true. And by the time we figure that out, it's too late. So make a plan that both parties understand and agree to, then get it in writing. That's all for this episode of the Money Insider series. I'm Stephanie O'Connell. To learn more about Tanja, you can follow her at Our Next Life. And remember to subscribe to the channel for more real money talk from Money Insiders and more.